right, guys. Welcome to the show. My name is Chad, and I know we usually sit here and talk to comic book creators, but we have a little something that is comic book adjacent. And I will let my two guests introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about this new YouTube program that's coming out. Believe this coming Tuesday. Am I correct?
It is indeed. I'll be real quick and then let Rama take the show. But we created Bad Grammar as a way to market not just our books, but to create a community for book lovers, because we felt there was a void in a sitcom that felt very much in tune with what our groups of friends who play Dungeons and Dragons or just have game nights do. And so we put five personalities together, and every week is a different book that very quickly devolves away from the book conversation and into interpersonal drama. And then somehow Ram and the rest of the acting team brilliantly brings it back into the book. And we've been in the edit bay now on episodes 2 through 5, and I mean, each one is just more hilarious than the next. And I'm so excited for you to see the first one. It's Bobby Lee's Deadweight, and that book is just bananas. But yeah, Rama, I'll give it to you.
Everyone, that was Matthew Medney, creator of Bad Grammar, also writer, publisher extraordinaire of Gugnir Books, and the genius behind and under every fuzzy Kangol hat that I've seen.
I pay him extra to say that.
Chad, nice to meet you. I also remember Book It. I am Rama Vallury. I'm one of the actors on Bad Grammar. I'm that one there on that side. I can do the pose. So this is a very fun show to be a part of, and I was added to the show through a mutual friend of ours. Matthew is working with a friend of mine, Eric Phillips, on production side things. Eric is a tremendous writer, has worked on For All Mankind and The Umbrella Academy, and he has a million of his own projects going on. He and I used to be on an Improv Olympic IO West sketch team together called Millard Fillmore back in the day, and we've been friends ever since and collaborators. And he had put something up asking, hey, are any of my comedy friends interested in being on a show that's a book club? And all I said literally was, ooh, because I love reading. I read a ton, and frankly, most people I know don't read a lot. There's just too many distractions with your phones, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube videos, and just living in the world that we live in, that to sit
shows
down
like
and
this
read
one.
a book, yeah, shows like this one. But you're encouraging people to read. But the idea of taking time out of your day to sit there quietly with a novel, something nonfiction, a graphic novel, a stack of comic books, feels in a way more selfish than it does self-care, just based on how we prioritize our time and availability to everybody else. But I also noticed this trend over the last 2 years, especially with close friends of mine who love playing board games or escape rooms or puzzles or D&D, that we all started recommending books to each other because we're all excited to go like, hey, I read this thing. I think you would really like it. What do you think? And we just start exchanging books and ideas. It could be anything from Brandon Sanderson to Matt Dinniman to whatever run of Batman that's going on. So it was nice that
Pierce
there was
Brown.
a show. Yeah, Pierce Brown. It was nice to just know, hey, somebody's making a show that is encouraging people to read, but also laughing at the self-importance of book clubs. Because the cut against most book clubs is it's kind of like a Tupperware party from the 90s. It's like everybody gets the book, they get together, but they don't actually talk about the book. They mostly gossip and drink wine. But in this, we're gossiping, drinking coffee, and really just fighting each other, but mostly on the merits of our opinions about these books, and then taking personal pot shots at each other. But it's a brilliant thing that they've done is taking books that people are talking about on Book Talk, on all these publishing lists, and within the community and the cross-section demographics that we're playing to, and also the graphic novels that GRAMM-MAR is making. So it's a way to introduce people to new authors, new ideas, new graphic novels, but also be a part of that cultural zeitgeist conversation. And it's just fun. It's the thing that I look forward to every month that we go and do these shoots, and then Matthew gives us a stack of books that we get to take home and keep for ourselves. And if you think about it, since you remember Book It, it's like going to the Scholastic Book Fair, but you have unlimited money. You can buy whatever you want. It's not just like one Goosebumps book and an eraser. I could get all the Goosebumps books and the Corvette poster and the colored pencils.
I see. Well, I know you mentioned Matt Dimmerman, and that's Dungeon Crawler Carl, and that's correct. And
Yeah.
I, had no idea about the book until I was doing an interview with one of my friends who was writing a book for Mad Cave, and he's like, "Oh, I'm really into Dungeon Crawler Carl," and I was like, "Now I gotta check that out." I'm on book 4 now.
Yeah, I have one of my best friends is a Marine, and he just texted me one day and just said, "Hey, are you reading Dungeon Crawler Carl?" I went, "No, what is it?" And he goes, "Okay, I'm gonna tell you absolutely nothing about it, but get the audiobook. Like, I know you want to read the physical book, but listen to the audiobooks first, because I'm a
That's what
professional
I'm
voice
doing.
actor." Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm a
Jeff
professional
Hayes is
voice
a
actor. I'm on
full-on
a lot
legend.
of I'm on a lot of cartoons. I narrate audiobooks. I'm an actor in a bunch of things. And when someone tells me, especially my buddy Andy Jones, that, "Hey, you need to listen to this, not just read it. You should listen to it." Okay, there's a good reason. 5 minutes in, I'm just transfixed by Jeff Hayes. It's proof that audiobooks are an art when they're done really well, and you get addicted to it. I've read every single one of them, and thanks to doing the show, I'd already read the first book before we talked about it, and Matthew and I had bonded over that, and because we were getting ready for the shoot, I re-listened to it, and now I'm on book 4 again. So I'm just going like one after another. I was like, well, I could listen to 8 of them in a row now, because I'm gonna have to wait a little while before the 9th one comes out.
So,
Well,
I mean, first
yeah,
of
it
all,
was-
Princess. Oh,
Good.
I was just gonna say Princess Donut for life. I'm definitely team Princess Donut. And one of the things we were hoping to achieve with the show, and it's still to be determined once the first episode comes out, is creating community as our marketing rather than marketing as marketing, and using about 4 or 5 months ago, myself and my partner Bella, who directs and helps put it together. She is equally as responsible for this mayhem as I am. And we were looking at the budgets for rolling out marketing for the books that we had on our slate. And we said, well, what if instead of this marketing that basically has no connective tissue one book to the other, what if we try to show people that books and the ideas behind books are relatable past the page, and make it so fun and so ridiculous and so insane that people watch the episode and go, "I have to read this book now." And that was like the initial impetus for creating the show. And then, as Rama said, Eric helped place 2 of the actors, Rama and Jordan, and then my friend Raquel, who I've known for a decade, brought in Julia, and then Donna is Bella's mom and is a riot, and we were able
She's
to
my
keep
hero.
She's literally self-proclaimed bitch on the set, which is the best thing ever. And we try to keep the team and the family really tight, and just have fun with it.
No, just because this is, on Comic Watch, we do other things, but, comics are our main thing. I noticed that one of the books that you mentioned that you guys are going to be doing is Absolute Batman. Do you guys have a history with comic books? And kind of what is that?
Yeah, this will
Had you
clear
read
to
it
everyone.
before?
Yeah, This one, it was on my list of
Yeah.
things to read. I actually was waiting for the library copy of it to be available to me, and then Matthew's like, "Hey, we're gonna be reading Absolute Batman." Like, hey, great! Now I don't have to wait for that one anymore. But this will explain a lot about my comic reading habits. I will read anything that was printed on the Vertigo print. Anything that came through Vertigo or then eventually rebranded DC Black. I think it's gone back to Vertigo. It's like and anything Batman related, I will buy all of the trade paperbacks and I just keep them. I know that I'm going to keep going back to them more and more and more. And things like Sandman early on, Watchmen, all of those that okay, here are the essential things that you need to be reading. I would talk to other friends of mine who are very deep in the comic community. They go every Tuesday and do their pulls. They have their pull lists. They started telling me, hey, you need to read Transmetropolitan, 100 Bullets, Scalped, all of they would just give me a reading list, Fable, Saga, like every one of these, they would say, okay, this is the next one. Bone by Jeff Smith was a big one that I read recently because a buddy of mine went, oh, you'll love this. It's like 1940s Disney animation, but it's this comic. It was like, okay, great. So I'll keep going further and further down the list. I think right now I'm in the middle of the entire Eastman Laird IDW run of Turtles that came out a little bit ago that leads up to The Last Ronin. So if a friend of mine tells me that I need to read a graphic novel, I immediately go and get it. But as a kid, I was very weekly reading Calvin and Hobbes in the newspaper, like Asterix and Obelix from France was a big thing, Tintin. So it just basically evolved from things like Charles Schulz's Peanuts all the way up to Absolute Batman. So it runs the gamut, the whole thing. And then Matthew writes these things. It's just cool. Like, wait, I hang out with a guy who actually, it's his job to sit there and write these. Go, that's cool. And then go, wait, he actually knows all of these artists who get to draw them. It's like a comic kid's dream. You get to really sneak behind the curtain and go, oh, that's how it's made. And it's great.
And for those that don't know, I've been doing comic books and graphic novels for over a decade now. We started with doing them for musicians like Chance the Rapper and Shaggy and 311 and a bunch of other hilarious hip-hop artists, including all the Rolling Loud Music Festival. Crossing over art and music was a middle ground for us. And then I had the privilege of running Heavy Metal Magazine for a number of years, and then left to start Gungner with the idea that edgy, hard sci-fi graphic novels and prose could be art objects as much as books, and we could find an entirely new community of readers who would love these things but don't even know they exist. My big wonder always has been there's about 600,000 people that cross through the doors of San Diego Comic-Con every year. There's only a couple of thousand people that go into comic book shops on Wednesdays. And I was like, how do we bridge that? How do we bring the people who love the pop culture of it and bring them to the dark side? And our whole idea was make the books feel more like art objects, make them feel like what they're buying is a relic to not just read and consume, but to show off at parties. And that was the whole idea with Gungner. And then, similar to Rama, Sandman and Watchmen were early inspirations to me. Fun fact about Peanuts, Rama, is Cliff, my dad, who also appears in a couple of episodes, brokered a deal between the Schultz family and Merck back in the early 2000s to make Snoopy the mascot of the microchipping company Home Again, to help find, save, and rescue over 20 million dogs that had run away. So he was a huge Peanuts fan. I was able to watch that happen in real time. That's pretty cool.
Are you familiar with his dad, Chad? Because Cliff Medney is a legend. This guy is like the Zelig of U.S. pop culture. Every time I talk to Matthew, he's like, "Oh yeah, my dad was the voice of these ads, and he was an investor in this thing, and he knows this guy. Like, anywhere you look, a significant event, like somewhere, Cliff Medney was just in the background hanging out.
He was definitely a tagline guy. He wrote a lot of taglines in the 90s and 2000s and did a bunch of toys for KFC, and has not. And he's, I think he's getting close to the big 7-0, but he doesn't act a day over 17.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it.
So tell us a little bit about how you came up with the name of the publisher, and then I'll tell you why I really like it. So I'll let you go first.
Well, so Gungnir, it's the staff of Odin. It's his spear. And in Norse mythology, unlike in the Marvel MCU, people think of Odin as the god of war, which he is. But in Norse mythology, in the pagan sort of rituals of it, he's also the god of poetry. And he uses Gungnir to commit his will, not just in battle, but to words. So in the writings of paganism, Gungnir helps Odin spin up stories that enlighten and imbue his people to fight and to love and to defend the Nordic way. And I just, look very much like a Norseman who might be a little bit too fashion forward, and that's that is my soul, is to be a disciple of Odin. So I thought it was a proper name to go with.
Yeah, metrosexual Thor over there.
I will tell you one of the reasons why. Well, besides the cool concepts, that you guys were working on, we had a rescue dog a couple years ago. He unfortunately passed at the age of 2 suddenly, but he only had one eye, and his name was Odin.
That's amazing. Odin is with us. I mean, it is Odin and the whole Nordic mythology, I think, is some of the more fun and cool pieces of culture that has somehow, Roman culture and Greek mythology sort of permeates pop culture in some ways, but it's wild to me how much of a staple there is this whole section for Vikings in a way that is so much more elevated than the reality of Vikings, which I find fascinating.
Unfortunately, we had to retire naming our dogs after Norse mythology, because the second dog we got after Odin, we named Freya and had to put her down due to some discipline issues. So we decided that the Norse thing was probably not a good thing to continue.
Too much power. Too much.
Yeah.
Have you tried Egyptian?
Well, right now the dog we have, his name is Kevin.
It's a strong name. I know a lot of Kevins, and I like all of them.
All I think about with Kevin is the robot from Final Space, Fred Armisen.
When we were looking for a dog, our son was about 2 or 3, and he was a big Minions fan. And the adoption place had the dog. His name is Kevin, and so we had to get Kevin.
The child still gets in the chute, no matter what.
So how do you go about choosing the books that you guys are going to talk about?
Yeah, we have a methodology. It's every other book is a book from the zeitgeist. So one book is a Gungnir book, and then one book is something from the zeitgeist. And so every month, 2 Gungnir books and 2 others. So for us, the books that we pick that are Gungnir books, we try to pick things that are either been out for a little bit or just about to come out. And then we have for the mainstream books, what we're really trying to do is find the things that have already touched culture or whose authors have already touched culture, so that we can sort of ride that wave and enter that conversation about it.
And do you do the Rama, as a panel member? Do you get to have a choice in the way you guys.
Hey, unlock it. Like, press the home button. Do not understand the heart of the Switch.
I like being surprised.
No, you don't go.
I like being surprised every month. Matthew will give us a heads up of here are the books that I think we're going to talk about, and it's nice. Sometimes I go, okay, yeah, I've read this one, so I'm already ready. But I like the surprise of it because it does feel we're just in Matthew's book club. It's here's the stack of books that we're going to discuss. So get your copy and go. And there's something just really fun and refreshing about it. Like we've suggested things to him, going, "Hey, just on a personal level, hey, have you read this?" That easily could be something that we throw into the mix. But especially when it comes to Gungner Publishing, who would know better than him? So he'll select the ones, and he'll know, hey, Jordan, you'd really love this one, or Rocky, you'd really love this one, and then we really hyper focus on different aspects of it, and it really it's funny.
I like the hyper focusing because I do that.
Yeah, because really we're in this thing of it. It is a book club, but we also are defending these books with our lives if we're the one who brought it in, and there, without giving anything away about future episodes, Jordan and I have known each other for a very long time. We're really, really good friends. We play D&D together, but on this show, sometimes I wonder if they're going to have security there to keep us apart, because our dynamic is very like baking soda and vinegar, fire and water, or gasoline and a fire. It's like we know each other so well. We know how to push each other's buttons, and it can be something as simple as him giving an opinion about something, or me giving an opinion about something, and the other just says, "Well, that's dumb. That's stupid." You don't even need to justify it. It's just you're the problem.
So you guys are going to be in the same room when you do this, not
No, we're all
like
this is a beautiful thing that's part of this community that Matthew's talking about. Of we're democratizing the book club idea and taking it out of the living room or out of the like post-COVID Zoom culture and making it an in-person experience for us who are a part of the club. But also, we're going to different bookstores and comic book stores every shoot around Los Angeles. These independent mom and pop places that you should know. It could be like Golden Apple Comics in Hollywood is something that everyone in LA in the culture knows about. But we also shot in this amazing bookstore down in Leimert Park called Lore. And I used to live on the West Side for the first 8 years of my time in LA, and lived in Culver City, Inglewood, and was next to Leimert Park, in Leimert Park constantly. And I didn't even know it was there. And when I walked in, it's like, this is one of the coolest bookstores I have seen in a long time, because it feels very much like, hey, you're just in a small town walking down the street. There's a cool bookstore. Let's go check it out. And the thing about independent bookstores is they're very intentional about the books that they purchase and that they sell. The stories that they want to share, the ideas and philosophies they want to put forward that are very positive and very inclusive. And the idea of you think you know this element about American history or pop culture or something, but you could go deeper, and you can always go deeper. And the only way you go deeper is by talking to the people who actually are in the culture, in that community, who know all of these cool things that they want to share. Ultimately, a book club is about sharing. It's about sharing your interests, your intelligence, your opinions, your philosophies, and broadening your horizons and having an open mind and an open heart to different thoughts and different experiences. So by taking us as a group around the city to a new bookstore, a new comic book shop every week, it's as exciting for us as performers and just members of this book club as it is for the people watching it, going, you don't know where we're going to be. And we don't even really know what it looks like until we walk in. And we walk in and go, whoa, this is cool. And then he and Bella will look at us and go, I know, right? Didn't I tell you it was going to be cool?
We do get to geek out about it like kids in a candy shop. It is, I mean, just like Rama gets that, we have that exact same reaction when we're scouting. Like, we don't even know half these places exist in LA, and it's been so amazing being able to find all of these bookstores, because as Rama said, you know, there's the staples, there's the Golden Apples and the Last Bookstores, which are amazing, and you know, we're working to do a shoot at Last Bookstore later this year, but you know, the Lore Bookstore and a couple of other comic book shops that we have coming up are just these gems that I didn't even know existed.
And that's all part of it. It's we're in the same way that he's trying to bridge that gap between San Diego Comic-Con, or just like broadly Comic-Con attendees, and that Tuesday, Thursday pull date at the comic book shops, like trying to get more people into the comic book shops. We're just trying to get more people into bookstores, not buying the books on Amazon. You don't have to go to Barnes & Noble, because look, Barnes & Noble is doing fine. It's absolutely doing fine. But like Skylight Books in Larchmont, places like that.
I'm sure Walden Books and B. Dalton said the same thing.
They're all doing fine, but if you're here, you're like, hey, look, like Broman's in Pasadena or Skylight, these mom and pop institutions that have been there, it is so vital and so important for us to support them, not only by walking in and browsing, but by actually investing in them. Yeah. Because as a little kid, like my two favorite places to go, if we weren't at like a park or an arcade, was the library and the bookstore, because you never know what you're going to find. And there's this just joy of picking up a book and that tactile pleasure of going, hey, this is a cool thing to hold. And the combination of the art and the story really draws you in, which is part of that intentional design that Matthew was talking about with Gungner.
Now, aside from, you know, you guys discussing the book, is there going to be a chance for the audience to participate, or just are they just casual observer?
No. So I mean, we have sort of created an actual book club around it. We'll give you the link for the website where you can join the book club. We'll have a Discord server for everybody to be able to communicate on, and our hope is to start throwing events early next year for all of the book club members to get to meet and sort of have this feeling that we have when we shoot, but with the larger community. And you know, in success of more people watching and people really enjoying it, we do hope to be able to bring this to other states and other bookstores and highlight bookstores around the country by having really fun shoots and episodes about books and bookstores. Because as much as every episode is about the book, it is also about the community and the culture of that bookstore. I mean, we try to frame, and Chris Hadlin, our cinematographer, I think does an amazing job of framing the ethos of each of the bookstores within the frames of our characters, because it is a multicam show, so there's 6 different camera angles in every episode, and it is a Herculean effort for him to figure out how to make that work in a pretty fluid way.
Now, is there one kind of looking down so you can see who's lying on the floor, like bleeding at the end of the show?
That's a great idea. We need a drone. We need a pair of drones. There'll be Odin's Ravens.
Odin's Ravens.
Yeah.
So besides Absolute Batman, are there any other comic book related selections that you can divulge at this time?
Yeah, there's so you know, on the Gungner side, we do our graphic novel with Bobby Lee, Deadweight. We do our book with Joe Harris called Aeon, and in the first 12 episodes, we do the final space, the final chapter. If you or any of your audience has seen the animated show Final Space that was on TBS, it was late teens. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest pirating it and finding it. Warner Brothers did the horrible thing of removing it from their library for a tax credit, so you have to pirate it. Olin, the creator, would very much unofficially support this decision because I know he's not allowed to say it, but Warner Brothers did gracefully allow him to make a graphic novel to finish the story. So we did do the final chapter of his TV show as a graphic novel that is just one of the most beautiful books I've ever seen. It's 700-page graphic novel. It is a bananas length book. So those are, and then we have a book that we did with image creator Jonathan Ball called Last Breeds. That's basically about an asshole Tarzan. It's fantastic. It's so good. It's so obscenely ridiculous. So those are all our graphic novels thus far. Moving forward, we'll probably do an episode on Watchmen and Saga. As much as I'd love
nothing controversial about those.
Exactly. I would love to do Sandman, but I don't really care to journey that close to the sun. So we'll probably hold on Sandman for the time being. But there's a ton
Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come, very possible. But the ones that I actually find really interesting that we will most certainly do, because I think they have a really important message to the non-comic book graphic novel readers that I think would be really useful to put out into the world, is A History of Violence and Road to Perdition, two of my favorite Vertigo books that most people don't realize those films came from comic books, from graphic novels. Most people assume they were some esoteric Pulitzer Prize winning novel or Edgar Allan Poe.
I thought they were documentaries.
Nice. I mean, both can be true. But books like that I think really enlighten a new perspective to people, I think is really important, because graphic novels permeate way more than people give them credit for. So really trying to find those types of books that we can have a cultural conversation about.
Well, and because I know Matt, you're at the Library Association shindig, and I'm sure Rama has something to do. And Rama, if you're looking for something to read, not to add to your pile,
always
should be out in trade soon, is the Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. Ooh. From the creative team that did Ice Cream Man, that does Ice Cream Man.
Oh yeah,
it's their Black Label DC Superman book.
I'm on board.
If you like Fifth Dimension, off the wall, best book of last year.
Perfect. I mean I'm ready for any and all suggestions, and if people jump on and watch our show Bad Grammar on Tuesday, June 30th, sign up for that book club at the Gugner website. If you buy the books, because you can buy all those books over there that are all incredible, and I love having them on the shelves. We get some sponsors in this. We take this on the road. More people are reading. More people are going to comic book shops and bookstores. More people are part of the conversation, and that's what we really want. We want to keep having fun, and we want to keep sharing our love of books and graphic novels with everyone. So sign up for our virtual book club. Jump on that Discord. Suggest books and comic books and graphic novels that you want us to talk about. We're all ears, and frankly, we want all the smoke. So we're going to stand by every ridiculous opinion we have on the show.
And just run down the cast again, everybody who's on the panel.
All right. Well, there's me. There's Donna, Raquel, Matthew Medney, or Cliff Medney, Matthew Medney. That's Julia, and that is Jordan Stidham, the biggest head because he's got the biggest ego. He's not here to defend himself. I can say whatever I want.
And are you guys going to be at any cons this year?
This year we will, Rama and I will be on a panel together at San Diego on Sunday at 10 a.m. on storytelling. And then we're hoping to take the show to panels starting next year.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'll be at LA Comic-Con again, as usual, doing the Voice NATO panel with a bunch of tremendous voice actors, with Kit Vanden Heuvel, Amanda Troop, And a lot of special guests. Last year we had Deborah Wilson and Jim Meskimen join us, and it's all voice actors in animated shows that you know, voice actors that you know and you love, and we just improvise and have a great time. So everybody can come to that, and I'll definitely be talking about Bad Grammar there too.
So why don't you do one final pitch for the show and where people can find you once again, and yeah.
Smart, sexy people read books and graphic novels, and they talk about it, and they share it, and they don't gatekeep it, and they support their local bookstores. If you're trying to intelligence max yourself instead of bashing your face with a hammer to looks max, hit your brain with a good book or a good graphic novel. Become a part of the conversation. Open your mind, open your heart, and open up your world. Because there are amazing things to read and amazing creative adventures you can go on if you just crack open that book.
Take a look. It's in a book.
A reading rainbow.
Nice.
Well, I want to thank you guys for taking time out of your schedules today, and if if we here at Comic Watch can do anything to help you guys in any way, please let us know. And as we always like to say at the end of our usual regular show, is the world can be a terrible place, especially these days, but do something nice for somebody. Support local artists, support local creators, local bookstores. You know what? Just don't be a jerk.
That was great.